Hey everyone, I'm Omar and welcome back to Generation Joe. If you love 80s IPs and the iconic toys they inspired, then you're in the right place. Today, I'm revealing my most complex and ambitious build to date. A 1/6 scale Cobra Ferret ATV complete with Cobra Officer Driver. Before we dive in, I need your help in deciding my next build. Should I tackle Beachhead, the Joe team's masked infiltration expert, or should I take on Shipwreck, the sailor with a sharp tongue, and his parrot sidekick? Drop a vote in the comments below. Now let's talk about this build, and trust me, there is a lot to cover. Building a 1/6 scale vehicle is no small task. Even for something as compact as an ATV, creating a vehicle in this scale is an undertaking that demands both space and patience. My workbench was covered in parts for weeks while I worked on this, but the end result, this massive, highly detailed Cobra Ferret, was absolutely worth it. The Cobra Ferret is one of the most iconic vehicles from the 1985 A Real American Hero line, and while the modern classified series release did a fantastic job of updating it, scaling that design up to 1/6 scale requires a complete rethink, especially if I wanted to add a level of military realism that matched my custom figure aesthetic. I started with a ZY Toys 1/6 scale ATV, an impressive base, but one that requires extensive modification to become the Cobra Ferret we know and love. The base model comes in 3 colors, desert tan, green, and black. I started with a black version. Step 1 was disassembly, and that wasn't as simple as unscrewing a few bolts. Some areas required purposeful breakage to take apart fully, but this step was critical to ensure that every piece could be painted properly. I stuck with the Ferret's signature dark blue, red, and black color scheme, but I leaned heavily into red accents to really modernize the look. The most noticeable change was the red wheels. Not part of the original design, but a creative decision I made because honestly it just looks awesome. Once everything was repainted, I added custom water slide decals that faithfully mirror the stickers on the original toy. These decals really help sell the build as a true Cobra vehicle. When reassembled, the Ferret became this incredible 1/6 scale beast. To really illustrate just how large this build is, I filmed a shot of the Cobra Ferret next to a 1/12 scale HasLab G.I. Joe classified Cobra His Tank. They're practically the same size. For something that's technically just an ATV, that's an impressive footprint and really emphasizes the kind of presence this build has on display. Just like the original, my Ferret is armed to the teeth. On the front right side, I mounted a removable 30 cal machine gun for added firepower. On the back platform, I attached a potent Mark 19 automatic grenade launcher, a brutal weapon for Cobra forces that's perfect for holding ground. The original Ferret featured side-mounted missiles, but for my version, I swapped those out for a more realistic anti-tank solution, a strapped-down ATM-4 rocket launcher mounted to the back platform. Painted gray to match the driver, it feels like a practical field weapon that adds a fresh tactical spin. For gear, I packed the Ferret with a range of equipment that enhances both its realism and functionality. 2 jerry cans for additional fuel reserves, weapons crates for ammunition storage, a toolbox for field repairs, larger tools like a bolt cutter and a monkey wrench, a tripod that can be used to reposition the 30 cal, and one of my favorite details, winches mounted on both ends of the ATV, perfect for towing and recovering vehicles. Since the original Ferret came driverless, I had to create my own pilot, and for that I decided to reimagine the classic gray Cobra Officer that originally accompanied the Cobra Stinger. In my headcanon, these officers are specially trained to operate all Cobra vehicles, making them adaptable and highly skilled in the field. I went with a darker, more realistic gray uniform with red accents that tie the figure back to the Ferret's color scheme. The figure's helmet is a sideshow Cobra Trooper officer helmet repainted to match the updated design. The red Cobra logo on his chest is a heat transfer, and the various patches were printed on an inkjet printer on canvas paper. His gear is packed with thoughtful details. I modified his shin guards to have a motocross style feel, reinforcing his role as an ATV operator. Around his neck, a set of goggles with a protective cover. For his primary weapon, I equipped him with an AK-74U with a drum magazine, perfect for firing on the move while minimizing reloads. And because no soldier goes out without backup, his web gear is packed with plenty of reserve ammo to keep him well supplied. Here's how this build stacks up in my 3-part rating system. For ease of build, I give this a 1 out of 10. This was an incredibly challenging build. Between the extensive disassembly, repainting, and the sheer amount of custom work, this project requires serious patience. Easily my most difficult build yet. For expense, 11 out of 10. Yeah, you heard that right. The ZY Toys 1/6 scale ATV alone can run you upwards of $230, and that's just before adding all the extra gear, weapons, and figure work. This was a pretty big investment. For satisfaction though, 10 out of 10. The sheer size, presence, and detail of this build make it one of my proudest creations to date. If you'd like to build your own 1/6 scale Cobra Ferret, I've included some affiliate links in the description below to help you get started. And remember, if you too are a member of the Joe Generation, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. And make sure to check out some of my other build videos on my channel page. Now it's your turn to decide my next project. Should I build Beachhead, the Joe team's commando and infiltration specialist? Or should I take on the Joe team's wisecracking sailor, Shipwreck, complete with his parrot Polly? See you next time.